Thank you. Nothing like missing a couple steps. So we're going to try to give you a leg up so that you don't have the experience that we had. Over the last 40 years, membership in Constitutional Area 1 and 2, the United States and Canada, has trended down. Our strategies and efforts in growing membership has not hit the mark. So if we're going to gain membership, we need to change our strategies. Insanity is often defined as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We're going to be following and using a technique that challenges us to do things differently. Peters and Waterman, authors of In Search of Excellence, said a sign of a successful organization is one that fails faster. The failing faster is adapting to opportunities and threats. The North America Membership Initiative has identified 3 objectives that they want us to be focusing on. Rejuvenating districts with new clubs, revitalizing clubs with new members, remotivating members with new fellowships and exciting service. By focusing on these things, we can grow membership in Constitutional Area 1 and 2. Your districts have all opted in and are hopefully in the process of building your NAMI team and putting your cabinets together. The district governor-elect, district governor, second vice district governor, and possibly your incoming candidate for second vice district governor are probably working together to pull this team off and start preparing to do the next step, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. The steps we're going to be focusing on today are building a vision and building a plan. Our first step is doing a SWOT analysis. As a rule of thumb, a vision is big goals looking at where we want to be in usually 5 years. The plan focuses on what we think we can accomplish in a year. The SWOT analysis is the foundation for us building a vision, big goals, and building a plan which lays out the action steps and strategies to achieve the goals and focus for the next 12 months. The SWOT process is the single best tool business experts and veteran entrepreneurs have found to systematically evaluate how an organization is doing at any point in time, whether they're 1 year old or over 100 years old. SWOTs stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The SWOT process helps you gain insights into the internal and external factors that are driving your organization. So the big question for most people being introduced to this technique is, how does this work? There's a process to conducting a SWOT analysis and how to use it to move your organization forward. We're going to talk about this process and how to do it. A SWOT template will help you gather the information in a usable format. There are hundreds of SWOT templates that you can access online for free. Take a look at them and find the one that speaks to you, one that you think will be easy for you to use. When you can do a SWOT in a large group, which we're very challenged to do now, facilitators often use large sheets of paper on the wall and sticky dots for prioritizing. The prioritizing helps you zero in on the top items in each category, narrowing the things you're going to focus on. It also helps to build consensus and buy-in from members. Participants have markers, they go around, they put all their thoughts on the various sections. You review them so that everybody understands what's been written. And then participants go and put their dots on the things, 3 to 5 things that they think are the most important in each category. Strengths and weaknesses are focused on the internal factors and characteristics of your organization. Strengths are the positive characteristics, both tangible and intangible, to your organization. Weaknesses are anything internal to your organization that could detract from your value or create a disadvantage in building membership, your effectiveness in the community. Strengths and weaknesses are things that you have control over. Opportunities and threats are external to your organization. An opportunity is any outside circumstance or factor that may allow you to prosper and succeed, achieve your goals. These situations are outside your direct control, but represent a higher probability of positive outcome for your organization. We want to take advantage of these opportunities. An example in my district right now is there's a Kiwanis and a Lions Club in one of our towns. The Kiwanis Club has lost members and is thinking of turning in their charter. The Lions Club saw this as opportunity and has been inviting the Kiwanians to participate in service events and fundraising events, hoping that when they turn in that charter, they'll decide to become Lions. Threats are any external factor outside your control that could pose a risk to your existence or growth. Right now, we have the virus that is affecting us. It's outside our control. A highly visible service club in our community could be a threat because the community knows them and may be more inclined to join them. So we want to minimize, eliminate, and or have contingency plans to mitigate these risks. Through the process of evaluating each of the categories and putting them together, you gain new insights into the internal and external factors driving your district's results. Think of the SWOT analysis as your district's pros and cons list on steroids. This tool can help you evaluate how you're doing and facilitate your major decision-making as you work to grow your district's membership and service. Using the SWOT to evaluate where you are helps you modify strategies when needed, allows you to take advantage of new opportunities and avoid new threats. This process helps you stay focused on the goals you've set. Now you may be thinking, why do I need to do this? I can do this without doing a SWOT. Well, a SWOT does a number of things for you. One, it sets us up for success. What makes your district a good idea? What are you good at? Does anybody want what you're selling? We're selling service and service around the world. Are the benefits of being a Lion worth the cost in time, talents, and treasure? How does the community see us? If we aren't willing to sell Lions, why would somebody join us? Looking at who we are, strengths and weaknesses, and our opportunities and threats is the foundation of your planning process. Your SWOT will teach you about your district's position and visibility and perceived and potential value to your clubs, your Lions, and the community. 2, there's a need to adapt to change. If we look at our history, 40 years ago, Lions were very successful. But a lot has happened over the last 40 years, and the world is not the same. Our long-term survival and success depends on our ability to adapt and to change so that we are evolving with our community and the times. If we want to break the trend of shrinking membership, we must develop new strategies and adapt to the changes in our communities. The SWOT analysis is a decision-making tool that helps you weigh the potential factors and steer you in the right direction. 3, we need a long-term focus. Every year, leadership changes in the multiple, the district, most clubs, and at Lions Clubs International. Are we working together and planning goals that are worked on from year to year? Do we know what the goals are this year? Do the new team members understand their role and how they are helping to move the ball forward? Are the seasoned team members working the plan and moving the ball forward? Are we looking at the goals and strategies to see where we are versus where we want it to be? Are we adjusting, adapting, and rethinking things? Regularly reviewing your SWOT analysis and reevaluating your SWOT analysis is a great goal-setting tool and practice to help you figure out what you want to achieve as a team. We urge you to perform a new SWOT analysis at least once a year and include new members and consider the changing circumstances around you. It's also beneficial to plan for at least a quarterly check-in with SWOT analysis team, perhaps your NAMI team, to see where you are, avoid issues and threats, adjust strategies, and take advantage of new opportunities. The SWOT analysis is a process, a nitty-gritty look at strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. These factors are always changing. So how does? Well, you gather your team, you invite different groups of people, you explain brainstorming. I didn't do that. You list strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You prioritize. You build your vision, your big goals, and you build your plan. And by the way, there's a technique to doing a successful SWOT analysis. It's brainstorming, and you're going to hear about that next. Questions?
Let me take my moderator off mute. Let me find my moderator. Don? We can't hear you. He'll be right here. Okay.
Sorry about that. The question that one of the questions that was raised was from Denny Grotrian, and he asked, should the GST, GLT, GMT be doing SWOT analysis as well? My response was I thought that was a good idea, and it was a good idea for everybody to do that. Can we open it up to other chats? David Beeman suggested that we wanted to look at the next to the last slide again. So Claudia, can we do that? Now we have to go back to Claudia. Yeah, we're yeah.
Thank you.
David, is that the correct slide?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep.
Nope. I
David,
didn't
these
mean to
will
do
be
that.
We
posted on
thought
the
we had all these
website too.
wrinkles ironed out, but we didn't.
We're going to post this, so it will be available to you.
If it's, and then Howard Hudson asked, if it is going to be a collaborative effort, they should be included. And I agree, Howard, that the GMT, GST, GLT should be included. And it's not a bad idea to do a SWOT on your own because they have their own organizations that they need to review and see who has the strengths, weaknesses, and so forth in their organizations.
Part of the SWOT process I mentioned is bringing different groups of people together. It helps if the NAMI core team understands what the SWOT process is, and then you start expanding it. If you try to do too much too fast with too large of a group, it sometimes can get very difficult. And if you can get several people on board with understanding process by having gone through it, then as you expand it, you have people to help you manage that process, because you need hands and you need people that can help you facilitate this. Denny is absolutely right. You want to bring as many people as possible in, and there needs to be lots and lots of different ways to do that.
Thank you. Great questions. I want to keep us moving along. We've got a lot to cover tonight, so I am going to make Juanita the presenter. As soon as I can find you. Alrighty. Juanita, over to you, and you're going to tell us a little bit about, well, a lot about brainstorming.
Thank you. All right, thank you everybody again for joining us. This has been quite an interesting process to go through in preparing for this presentation. But as District Governor Claudia mentioned to you, that there is a process in preparing your SWOT analysis. And one of the ways is completing the SWOT analysis. It's to hold a brainstorming session. Brainstorming can be something very complicated or very simple. And our goal is to keep it as simple as possible. It can be done as a large group or as a small group setting. But considering the circumstances we're under right now at this time, you will have to hold your brainstorming in a different way. And that is by holding your brainstorming sessions by region, by zone, or even a select group of members at a time. You know your district, so you just need to put in place as to what works for you. Brainstorming is a way to bring about new ideas and new perspective into what we do on a regular basis. It is a process that helps to identify what is working and what is not. Overall, it helps to generate a larger pool of ideas so different options can be presented in the process of solving problems. So many times we get stuck in a rut of always doing the same things over and over again and never really take the opportunity to evaluate, reassess, and ask ourselves, is this the best way of doing things? And as you move forward in your year, you can actually do brainstorming session anytime during your year. Brainstorming, why do we need to do it? As you analyze your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, brainstorming will play an important part to bring about new ideas to strengthen your weaknesses and learn to deal with and work through the threats. It develops teamwork and everyone is given the opportunity to contribute. It gets everyone away from we've always done it that way. Each of us need to be open to other point of views without criticism. It makes everyone feel good because they are contributing and being heard. The other factor in this process is we all must be good listeners while we're doing this. This is also a great opportunity to get to know each other. Becoming familiar with what others can contribute based on their education, work, and life experiences will help your club or district as it develops goals that will lead to increased membership as well as increasing effective leaders. There are rules for the facilitator. As a facilitator, you set the stage. Begin your session by explaining the goals that you want to accomplish in your session. Participants need to know what you wanted to accomplish by the end of your session. Focus on one topic at a time. For example, you want to focus on membership retention. Allow maybe 15, 20-minute brainstorming session on that topic, and then move on to the next. Reassure participants this is to generate a pool of ideas. As a facilitator, you may need to remind participants of the brainstorming rules that I will cover later on. Each group should select a recorder. Make sure someone in the group is taking notes and capturing as much as possible during the session. For a successful brainstorming session, it is important participants feel they can express their ideas freely and their idea has merit. Not everyone feels comfortable in speaking out while in a brainstorming session. Try to have them brought into the conversations. If that does not work, provide members the opportunity to share their ideas in writing. This can be done anonymously and shared later on. The key to this process is to get everyone involved as much as possible. Diversify your groups. Too many times the same group of people sit together no matter where they're at. You will increase your opportunity of generating more diverse ideas by breaking up these groups. And one of the ways, if we were meeting as regularly as we do, is when they check in for the session, you hand them a colored piece of cardboard or paper and inform them that they are to sit at the table that displays their color. Or the other option would be to have them take their seats. When you call the session to order, you break up the groups and tell them that they are to go to the table with their color card. Again, considering the current circumstances, this will have to be managed differently for an online session. Make sure participants have the opportunity and enough time to generate their own ideas. Give them a break to think on their own. Make sure you give them the flexibility to add an idea later on. For example, if they couldn't think of anything at that time or that moment, maybe while they're having lunch, they come up with something and they want to add it on, pass it on to the group. Let them add their idea later on. Remain positive, stay focused, and keep everyone on task. Be prepared for and invite wild ideas. All ideas are to be considered. Display the ideas, and yes, it is okay to have repetitions. Important to share and build on each other's ideas and concepts. As a facilitator, it's your responsibility to suspend judgment and criticism. Participants need to feel they are being heard and their ideas are valued. There's rules for participants. Never criticize ideas. Ideas must flow freely in brainstorming. A crazy idea could lead into new ideas. Criticism adds a roadblock to brainstorming. You want participants to open up and share their thoughts. Brainstorming is a group process. Ideas are to be shared. The idea is a product of the group that came about in the brainstorming process and input of all who participated. You are looking for quantity of ideas, not quality. It is important participants see this session as an opportunity to express unusual thoughts. Even the craziest ideas can inspire another participant with another idea. Build on this. Be attentive and respectful of others. It is important each participant is willing to actively work on the ideas of others and let the brainstorming unfold. Participants will play off ideas shared that are brought on by others. The more ideas that are generated, the better. And here are the 7 rules of brainstorming. Facilitator, you set the stage. Give people time to think on their own. Have a mixture of different backgrounds and experiences. Allow members to talk freely. Integrate the shy ones. Make sure everyone shares at least one idea. Focus on the quantity of ideas. Capture and record everything. Allow brainstorming breaks. And allow everyone to add an idea later on. So in this process, as you see, are the 7 rules. It is to defer judgment, encourage those wild ideas, build on the ideas of others, stay focused on the topic, one conversation at a time, be visible, and go for quantity. Participants, never criticize. Ideas are no one's property. No ideas to be kept from the group. Be brief and absorb the ideas of others. And yes, as a participant, as a facilitator, you will not agree with every single idea. Everyone needs to keep an open mind and listen. So now that you have an idea of what the brainstorming process is like, you can begin your own brainstorm and ask yourselves, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your available opportunities? And what are your threats? Slide has 3 references. They're all interlinked, so you could just click on them and it takes you right to the website, but these are great resources that you can use. And I like the quote down the bottom. Done right, brainstorming can be amazing. It is a lot like a game. If no one plays it by the rules, it's a disaster. But follow them and you will be surprised at how freeing and fruitful it can be. Any questions?
Okay, I think this should be working. A couple of comments have been brought up. Cindy Lemus mentioned that, asked if all your zone and region chairs be brought in, and the answer to that is yes, of course. Get as many people, get as many people in there as you can for the brainstorming sessions. Rob Manning mentioned that being part of the SWOT is the team building process going into the new year. So it's an excellent part of team building. So strongly consider bringing everybody that you possibly can in. Liz Crook thought that was agreed with that. Liz Crook also said, asked if, Juanita, are your references books or articles?
They're articles from different institutions.
Any other questions? And Liz said, thank you.
Thank you.
You've got to love chat.
Yes. So I've been, I'm encouraging all of you to include comments in chat. I'm keeping track of them. Claudia Miller in 4A1 has mentioned she's inviting club presidents to attend a virtual meeting on SWOT. So encourage everybody that you possibly can to participate. I know sometimes getting large groups is a bit cumbersome, but and Dr. Valera mentioned SWOT analysis can be done at clubs and district levels. We're actually encouraging, later on towards the end of the presentation, we'll talk about doing the SWOT analysis for your district. Of course, we need to do the SWOT analysis for the district. And we have a couple of deadlines that are going to be going into that. Turn that back over to Susan and move this along.
Thank you, Council Chair Don. If you are going to take a break, I would encourage you to take a quick break right now, because this is going to be the fun part. We're actually going to do some brainstorming and a sample quick brainstorming session on the multiple district SWOT activities. So take your break. I'll give you all 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, we'll be back and we'll start the next activity. So thank you, everybody. Someone out there, someone is not muted. Is that you, PCC Logan?
No, I just unmuted. Now I'm muting.
Okay, thank you.
I did unmute and say hello.
Well, hello. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank
Susan.
Yes, Lisa.
Juanita, Liz asked to see Juanita's references again.
Okay, that's gonna be fun. Hold on a second. This will be
in the website, right?
This will be published. Juanita, I'm gonna unmute you and make you presenter.
She might be on her break.
Yeah, I can't unmute Juanita. She's got herself.
I'm just looking for the one that was talking about doing it online.
Were you looking for me?
Yes, Juanita, we were. You were on your break. Thank you for coming back. Past Council Chair Liz Crook would like to see your reference slide again, so I've made you presenter.
Sure. Let's bring it back up again. There you go.
Liz got the references.
Okay.
And I can go ahead and mention Claudia's comment. We'll provide digital articles of the material, and we will have this GoToMeeting out posted on the website.
I didn't unmute myself, sorry, along with all of the decks. So, meanwhile, back at the farm, we have learned about what a SWOT is and how to brainstorm. So we're going to practice, and I'm going to use some of the folks on tonight as not guinea pigs, but as participants, as volunteers. I'm going to volunteer you. So if I can get this to, there we go. When you brainstorm, as District Governor Claudia mentioned, there are several different formats. There's for doing a SWOT, and the brainstorming format that we have used just happens to be the one that I'm showing. You've got your internal factors at the top with strengths and weaknesses, and you have your external factors with opportunities and threats. We are going to be completing one of those, and I am going to make District Governor Elisa the presenter now, because we are going to actually do a brainstorming session, and the first thing that we are going to do is work on strengths. So Elisa, can you display that? Is Elisa on? Well, if she's having problems, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we will perhaps Council Chair Don can help us capture some of these.
I will jot them down.
Thank you. We won't have you display them, but we'll have you capture these as we go through. We're going to work now. Think about the multiple district: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What makes our multiple strong? What is an internal weakness in the multiple? And external factors, opportunities, and threats that the multiple faces. So I'm going to call on Bill Rydell, and I will unmute everyone for the benefit of this exercise. And I will ask you to try to be quiet unless you're speaking, but Bill, can you think of a strength, an internal strength in the multiple district?
It would have to be our leadership and our training. That's one of our big strengths in multiple district 4. It always has been.
Thank you. Danny, what do you think one of the strengths of the multiple district is?
I think we have asset in people. We have lots of people that have a lot of strength. And I think that starting from internally, we have a cast, but we also have a system of getting our council chairs. And I have to say my experience at my talk has been invaluable, and I really value the lifelong support there too.
Thank you. Kat.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you think of a strength?
Well, I know that everybody is very focused on commitment.
Okay. So our commitment, thank you. Linda Pugliese joined us. Linda?
Had to unmute me. One of our biggest strengths is our administrator, Cass. I have to say that. I'm not, well, the other thing is the training that we get, training that's being offered.
Okay. Marilyn, what is a strength?
Our diversity.
Oh, thank you. David Beeman?
One of the strengths of our multiple districts, one of these strengths is our multiple district projects. The exchange, the student speaker, the various projects that we do as a multiple.
Jose? Hello?
Jose's muted.
I'm sorry, is Jose on? Did I miss?
He's muted.
I unmuted everybody, so.
How about now? Hello?
Yep,
Yeah,
you're on.
Can you hear
You're
me now?
on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So, as I was saying, one of the strengths that we have is that we have these links to Alliance International. The links are composed of our representatives, i.e., past International Director Howard Hudson, Dennis Grotrain. We have people that are involved at the LCI level that can connect us with LCI in terms of what we need to do, what we need to understand, and what our work is. So I think that's a strength. Did you get that? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm recording everything.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. And I apologize. A phone in our home that never rings rang in the middle of this meeting. Mea culpa.
That's all right.
Stephen Lacey.
My biggest thing would be the spirit and enthusiasm of our Lion. You know, why we do things. We are just motivated to make a difference. And it's very strong here in
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Brian?
Yeah, my biggest, I think our biggest strength is probably the diversity, and that us Lions are connected to other entities throughout our cities and through our counties, and I think that we can use that. We use that very well, and I think we could even improve upon it.
Excellent. Thank you. Did I miss any of the first vice district governors that are on? I'm going to jump around a little bit on weaknesses. I know that we haven't heard from any of the district governors tonight. So, Connie, what do you think one of the weaknesses of our multiple district is?
I can't think of any right at the moment.
Okay.
Maybe cooperation with the governors with their team sometimes. Communication. I know that's a weakness I have.
Okay. Thank you. Gary Hall?
Yes. One of the weaknesses that I see sometimes is the lack of training, hands-on training of the incoming second VDGs. That seems to be a little bit of their kind of lost back there sometimes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gary. And I think this is going to be a challenging year.
Thank you.
Nick Delacama, what do you see as a weakness in the multiple? I think Nick is still on mute. I don't have him on mute, honest. I unmuted everybody.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now, Nick.
Okay. I think what I could see in my own district is the participation of the past district governor, that after all those having been a district governor, it seems like they're done with their job already. So I would like to encourage them that maybe their experience and what they have done before, I think that give us the incoming governor to their experience is the one that is really needed by the district governor, the incoming governor, because as like I could I see this like a family that, you know, if you want your son or your daughter to become a good doctor or a good physician or a lawyer, then if you are the father of the district, then you need to supervise or give you the kind of knowledge that you have in order to make them a better governor, a better leader.
Okay, thanks.
That's for my own perspective.
Yeah, no, thank you. Ron, what do you see as a weakness in the multiple?
I think that there's a couple things. One is that there.
Choose one.
Just one.
This is brainstorming, so choose one.
Okay. Too many people want to control everything.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
One.
Norm, I can tell you've been thinking.
You saw the smoke coming out of my ears, right?
I did.
Okay. Well, I think part of the problem is that it's going to jump on what Ron was saying, basically. We're not doing a thorough job in selecting the people for the leadership positions, and we're letting personalities eliminate some great people, and I think that's wrong. They could be helping us.
Okay, thank you. Helen?
Hi. Okay. For me, is the lack of role model within the district leadership. What I'm talking about here is about the role of the past PDGs.
Okay.
In terms of how they build the current leadership and support.
Okay, thank you, Helen. Sarah?
Yes, this is Sarah. I believe, really appreciate all the excellent communications that we received from LCI, multiple, but I think we need a little bit more guidance when we come to this, because we struggle on how we understand these communications that we receive from above. And if we can do that, just like perfect example is the NAMI. And with this training today, this is very helpful to us. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You just got 5 points. Woo! And Rick.
I think one of the weaknesses is the time that we have face-to-face communication and interaction.
Okay, especially now. And Claudia, you'll have to take yourself off mute.
I think the weakness I see is that while we provide excellent training, we don't provide training in how to use the tools and how to effectively use those resources. And I think that's probably the biggest weakness I see.
Thank you. Lisa?
Hi, this is Sarah. I'm sorry, I got dropped. that.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. I'm not sure if Elise is on or not, is she?
I just got back on.
Well, welcome back. Do you have a real quick weakness for us? Well, not personally, but multiple districts.
You don't want me to say the one I have, do you?
No, we don't have that much time.
Claudia took mine.
I'll share it.
Okay.
I'll share it.
That's fine. And Juanita, are you back?
Hi, Zach.
Okay. Do you have a weakness that you see in the multiple?
Ways of bringing up prospective leaders to step into leadership roles.
Okay. Thank you. I'm hoping I didn't miss anybody, but I do want to jump over to opportunities. And I'm going to go back to Bill Rydell. Bill, what do you see as an opportunity in the multiple?
I think we have a great opportunity in finding new people. California is very unique in where we're at and the type of communities we have. And I think we just need to get out there and do more and diversify. Specialty clubs. I like specialty clubs. Let's go that way.
Awesome. Thank you. How about Gabby Hartzler? I'm going to jump over to her. What do you see as an opportunity in our multiple?
I like the availability of training.
Thank you.
Okay.
Karen. Karen Crook?
You gotta unmute yourself.
You got to unmute.
Karen's got to unmute herself.
Okay.
There you go.
How about visibility and public awareness?
Opportunity, visibility, and public awareness. Thank you. James Bargasi, how about an opportunity in the multiple?
This is what I'm doing next Wednesday with my people. It's this process here.
Okay. Who was that? Was that Stephen Lacey that I have to mute?
Yes, please mute me. I just can't you.
James, there he goes.
We have a great team of people in MD4. Of course, we need to identify the strength of each and every one and delegate tasks so we can get better things done.
If I heard James right, he's talking about using the skills of the people. We have very talented people, and we need to find out what they can do, assess their skills, perhaps. John Schroeder.
Okay, one of the tagging on to what Norm said, I think one of the things that the multiple district fails on.
We're on opportunities. I'm sorry. We're on
fails. Let me complete my sentence,
okay.
please. Not using the convention as an opportunity to properly instruct additional people in the leadership roles. We keep on recycling the same people over and over again in the multiple without properly giving an opportunity to other people to serve. There should be, like in Congress, there should be term limits.
Okay, so opportunities for people to serve. Thank you, John.
Correct.
Bong, can you think of an opportunity, an external factor in our district, in our multiple?
Nothing.
Okay.
I have nothing to say.
Okay, that's okay. And I'm going to jump over to threats now. Donna Prince. you identify an external threat that our multiple district?
Excuse me, this is Brian. I have a great opportunity.
Okay, Brian, thank you. I love the enthusiasm.
Okay, well, here's the deal. We're missing the multiple, everyone's missing the boat on the LEOs and the high school kids and the need for volunteerism and getting attached to some of the sports, some of the players, some of the parents. I am a governing board member, as everybody knows, on the school district, and I'm very connected to my high school and my high school seniors, and they're all graduating. And I think we're missing the boat on getting these high school kids involved so that they can carry the torch.
And I think that Doug Campbell and Cindy Lemus probably both share your enthusiasm for engaging the LEOs. So thank you very much for bringing that up.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Did Donna get off mute, or is Donna still with us?
Hi, Donna's still here.
Okay. Donna, can you think of a threat to our multiple district?
Obvious threat to our multiple district is the membership issue.
Okay, thank you. Dr. June?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. So external threat is, at this point in time, I think is COVID pandemic is the external threat at this point in time. And this is also the same thing as when Lions do not do any services, then they lose interest.
Okay.
Something like that. Just like, yeah. So we have to engage our members in all our activities.
Okay, so the threat is
engagement, involvement,
engagement.
And if there's no services we can show to the community, or to services that we can let our members do, then they lose interest, and then again membership will be down. So just what's going on right now, pandemic, we're doing not much, and people are losing interest, something like that. Even if there's no COVID pandemic, if there's no services, then we lose members.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Jim.
Thank you, Dr. Jim.
Cindy, can you think of? Oh gosh, there's a bad echo.
External threat, particularly right now, it would be connectivity as far as people that are in our multiple that don't have access to the internet or computers that can do just like what we're doing. Because now we are moving into, this is kind of the world we're in for a while, and there's a lot of people that can't do it. And so connectivity would be an issue.
Okay. Thank you very much, Cindy. Well, I'm hoping that we've captured those. And
I can quickly go over them. We'll publish them on the websites. For strengths, this is a basic, quick demonstration of doing a SWOT. We haven't gone through it completely, and we have to go back and do prioritization and so forth. But we need to. This is the beginnings of a SWOT. So we started a SWOT for the multiple district right here. Strengths, we have leadership training, our people, commitment, CAS, training, diversity projects, multiple district projects, links to international, and enthusiasm and communications. Interestingly enough, we went from a strength of communication to a weakness in communication. And that's okay, because sometimes a weakness and a strength can be the same thing. Interestingly enough, when we started our SWOT analysis for A1, we found that PDGs were a strength, weakness, threat, and opportunity.
Well, how apropos.
So, and we said lack of hands-on training for second VDGs, PDG participation, too many people try to take control, selection of leaders, lack of role models of PDGs, more guidance from LCI, face-to-face interaction, training on tools and resources, and leadership. So we have leadership in both areas. Opportunities, finding new people, training, making the public aware, public awareness, delegation of talents and skills, get new leaders and term limits. Leos and high schoolers are an opportunity. Threats. Threats are membership, the pandemic, and pandemics going into no service, and connectivity, and the challenges of connectivity during COVID. So that's a mini SWOT that we've done, and I think it's very interesting what's going on. Now I'll turn it back over to Susan and the next part of the presentation.
Thank you, Don, CC Don. I want to make sure that we share past International Director Howard's chat. He said, in response to John, one of the outcomes of the recent board meeting was a change to the standard district constitution and bylaws to restrict zone and region chairs to 3 consecutive years in their position. Thank you, Howard. And Rob Manning suggested that an opportunity in our community. How about the opportunity of the majority of our communities not having Lions clubs? The opportunity for new clubs are endless, and amen to that. We just moved 2 years ago from a town that has 86,000 people and not a single Lions club. It's tragic. And Ken Ibera mentioned finances and costs. I'm not sure if that was a strength or a weakness or a threat.
Probably both.
But I suspect it's both. So thank you very much. That is how simple a SWOT can be. It's not threatening. Hopefully it got you thinking about the multiple, and you can take back some of those things to your district when you do your sessions. So now what do we do with this? And I'm going to see if we can I'm going to put everybody back on mute. Thank you so much for your participation. I think brainstorming is super fun. Somebody always suggests something that I would have never thought of. So thank you very much for your participation. I'm going to put you back on mute, and I'm going to pass the ball to District Governor Elisa Coyle for the next.
Okay, hopefully this works. My internet stays. Hi, all. So the SWOT conclusion analysis, what do you do once you've come up with this wonderful long list in every category? We've completed our lists. Now we figure out how to use them effectively. If we stop at just doing the lists, we have no set direction, we have no plan, we just have a list of things that we know are out there. Your team needs to determine your main objectives by prioritizing the items on your list, and you want to pick the top 3 to 5 items to focus on. You want to build on your strengths, eliminate your weaknesses, mitigate your threats, and utilize your opportunities. Once you've prioritized each of your SWOT categories, we move on to the 4 types of conclusions. This is your guide to your focused effort for success. Every district, every club, they're all different. And what you want your focus to be relies on the importance of these 4 conclusions for you to move forward. The first conclusion, strategy, rejuvenate, starting new clubs. Rob said that's a great opportunity. Yes, it is. Revitalize, build up existing clubs with new members. Motivate, creating healthy, happy clubs through fellowship and exciting service. And support the utilization and creation of positive leaders at all levels. Now that you've prioritized your focus, you need to set your strategies. In order to accomplish this, we use a SWOT matrix. And I know you're all asking, what is a matrix? How do we use it? So we're going to define a matrix as something within or from which something else originates, develops, or takes form. Simply put, a matrix is using a combination of factors to create usable strategies. The matrix that we're using is a 2x2 box that helps you develop 4 types of strategies from your SWOT lists that your team has developed. There are 4 strategies created using the matrix. You have strengths and opportunities, where you use your internal strengths, whether it's your district or your multiple, and you take advantage of those external opportunities. You have weaknesses opportunities, where you improve internal weaknesses to your organization, making use of external opportunities. Strengths and threats, use those internal strengths of your organization to reduce the effect of external threats. For instance, we're sitting here in a meeting doing a training when we can't go out of our houses. Weaknesses, threats, elimination of your internal weaknesses in order to combat external threats. These strategies give you a direction to focus your efforts for success. Now I'm going to show you a few samples of each one. Strengths and opportunities. Several club members are well versed in social media, actively assist club members with understanding how technology works. The opportunity is to use those club members' expertise to develop club marketing and public relations. Take the strength, convert it into the use of the open opportunity that is available. Weaknesses opportunities. Club has a history of non-inclusion of new members, causing them to leave the club. What's the opportunity? Club leadership makes it a priority to make time available for sessions on the importance of developing relationships with others. Take the weakness, turn it around using the available opportunity. Strengths, threats. 50% of the club members are proficient in technology, which includes the ability to set up and/or participate in meetings and online training. COVID-19 pandemic, which virtually eliminated all group meetings, not only threatened club stability, but makes the recruitment of new members much more difficult. Take the strength, use it to cancel out your threat. Weaknesses, threats. This is always the doozy. A club with a membership of only 10 members is experiencing real challenges, primarily due to having only 5 active members trying to keep the club alive. The remaining 5 members attend meetings sporadically and have low participation in activities. What's the threat? You're going to lose the club and inability to serve your community due to a lack of members and hands to work. You eliminate the weakness in order to combat the threat. When going through this process, you must understand that there are limitations to your SWOT analysis. You have the overlapping of strengths and weaknesses. As an example, past district governors, nobody take offense, can fall into both of these categories. You can have a super supportive, positive, active PDG, or you can have an old idea, negative thinking, don't want to move the bench PDG. The SWOT does not show you how to achieve your objectives. You need to find viable ways to implement your strategies for your area. The SWOT analysis is static. It doesn't show changes. You need to readdress and re-examine your SWOT periodically to adjust your strategies to the changes or lack of changes that have been occurring in your district. Do you need to do something more? Do you need to do something less? Factors listed on the SWOT can be overemphasized. Be careful not to focus solely on one item. You lose perspective and get pigeonholed into one lane and ignore the rest of the issues you're trying to improve on. And many correlations between internal and external factors are not addressed. It's important to realize your SWOT is not all-encompassing to all of your issues. You're picking and choosing. This is why we re-examine the SWOT periodically to pick up the correlations that are missed in your original analysis after putting your first run into effect. If you start doing something and it's not working, stop doing it and move on to something else. You want to weight your conclusions. Rejuvenate, revitalize, motivate, support. What's most important to you? What's second? What supports that? Put them in order so you know where to focus your strategies. In summary, be truthful and thorough when creating your SWOT analysis. It's hard to be hard on ourselves. Take the bad with the good and turn it into an advantage. Be creative and aggressive when trying solutions. It doesn't matter how crazy the idea is, as long as you're trying something, you're moving in a forward direction. If it doesn't work, drop it, move on, try another crazy idea. Something that I try in C1 is not necessarily going to work in L6. Aware of limitations and work around and beyond them. We all have limitations. We know what they are. We know sometimes who they are. Deal with it. Keep moving forward. And the biggest thing is reassess your SWOT after trying different strategies for any changes. Now that we've brought all of this together, you have to figure out, you and your team, what your primary long-term goals are. That's your vision. Once you've established your long-term vision, which is a 5-year span of time, you move on to your most immediate goals for your 1-year action plan. You need to take the strategies that you've created and come up with action items, things that you're actually going to do to accomplish your goals. Does anybody have any questions?
Patty Hill mentioned several things in, if you can look over at your chats, she put down several things that can be strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats. And Linda Pugliese mentioned a couple of things about the seasons versus millennial generation. So we have some things going on there. Any specific questions for Elisa?
Wow, everybody's so smart now. They don't have any questions, or they're all muted and they can't talk.
Oh, there are, Denny mentioned at DGE school at St. Charles, we emphasize to the first BDGs as they select as they plan for the year, the NAMI process is your district, your way. So we need to make sure that that is emphasized. And one size does not fit all. Again, your district, your way. We talked about your club, your way. We also have your district, your way. Rob Manning said that Lisa did a good job. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
And David Beeman also said the same thing. So thanks to all four of you in preparing this presentation. I think it's been most excellent and most worthwhile. I see a couple of hands applauding.
We're not done yet. We're wrapping up.
No.
So you can get to happy hour, but
we have a couple of things. Go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, Susan has a presentation.
Yeah, Susan has a presentation.
And I have something small at the end.
I will put y'all on mute again. So how do we do this? Be on time and be organized for starters. Meetings are changing, and I think Linda Pugliese is a champion of the changed meeting, as I've watched her host several Zoom meetings. But meetings are changing. Meetings used to be 2 or more people in a room assembled discussing the same topic, a common topic. That's not the case anymore now. 2 or more people can be assembled anywhere in the district, the multiple district, the country, or as we have tonight, someone joining us from Canada, so anywhere in the world. So meetings have changed. However, meeting etiquette has not changed, and we need to be very cognizant of that, especially when we're on the phone. Organize and prepare. It's crucial to accomplish the items on your agenda and keep participants engaged. Hopefully we've done that tonight. Create an agenda and assign times to each item. Didn't do that tonight, but I think we're staying on track. We want to encourage participation. Not everyone has the same comfort level in every setting, but we want to make sure that everyone respects opinions, invite people to be involved. Engaging people can be more challenging in virtual meetings, so use polling and Q&A occasionally if you can. Be punctual. Arrive early, make sure you're comfortable and everything is working. Be aware of your location. We've done pretty good tonight, but avoid noisy areas with distractions. Stick to the agenda. As much as we like to be social, sometimes during meetings it's best to have a social time separate from your business meeting. Do your best to keep the discussion on track and avoid side conversations. You lose people if there are side conversations. You lose their attentiveness if the meeting runs long. Use visual aids. Hopefully our visual aids tonight have been helpful. We're going to share the document with you online, and I can also email it to you if you'd like. Whiteboards are handy too. We were going to try to use a whiteboard tonight, and that didn't work, but use visual aids whenever you can. Keep notes. Notes are very personal. They can be verbose or succinct. It's your choice, but if you find that there's something valuable being discussed, take notes. Record meetings. We're recording this meeting tonight because not everyone can attend. We're hoping that other people can take advantage of the information that has been shared bidirectionally tonight, but we do want to make sure that we let people know up front that they're being recorded so they can be comfortable and agree that they want to participate in the recording. Become familiar with your conference tools. Different conference services have different tools like polling and whiteboards and backgrounds available. Personal tools like headsets have features and functionality. Make sure you know how to use your tools before you start a conference. And keep meetings short. If a meeting needs to run for several hours, take wiggle breaks. Set a time for Q&A at the end of the session and limit the number of questions. After your meeting, share your notes. We'll be sharing this presentation with everyone, including the notes that were taken during the brainstorming session. So be sure to share your notes on a timely basis with all of the participants. And if you do this, people will look forward to your meetings. If they're efficient and productive, they'll actually look forward to attending your meetings, whether it's a district meeting, a cabinet meeting, or a SWOT meeting. I don't know if there were any questions on that. That was pretty quick and to the point. Don?
Okay, Ken Abera asked how we can build a team. You want to respond to that?
How we can build a team?
Yes, I think I need to respond to that more than anything. The district governors are working on figuring out ways to build a team for going forward into NAMI for this coming year. We've been meeting frequently, and we're going to be engaging the first vice district governors as much as we can to help build a team. How do we build the team? Linda Pugliese made a comment about riding the wave of change. We either have to stay on the wave of change, or we're going to lose out. Any other questions?
Well, thank you for letting me present, and I do have another slide here for this one's for Council Chair Don.
Okay, we had a discussion before this with past Council Chair Rob, who is our acting, or not acting, he is our current NAMI champion until the end of this year. And we want to make sure that you know about the updated change for the NAMI plans. And the NAMI plans we need to include, after you've done your SWOT analysis and developed some strategies, we will need to know how many new clubs you plan on having in your district. So get started on these. They're going to be due May 15th, 2020, May 15th, and we'd like those plans sent to Rob and myself. Our emails are up there. Number of new clubs, number of new charter members in those new clubs, number of members in new members in existing clubs, number of dropped members. We can kind of anticipate this from past history, and based on this, net membership growth. Remember that it's your district, your way. So if you submit something that says that you're not going to have any new clubs, that's okay. I would encourage new clubs, but if you've decided that there's no way that you want to put in a new club, that you want to develop old clubs, that's fine. So we're just going to, for the submission, we're going to be looking at completeness, not at what your goals are, but how complete they are. So if you don't have anything for new clubs, we're going to say, well, how many new clubs are you going to have? But it's not just for completeness, not for saying that, oh, this is bad, or that what are you talking about? We want you to be succinct and up to date, but get those SWOTs in, get those goals in, again by May 15th. We need to do the district SWOTs first so that we can do an MD4 SWOT. We need to start working on getting those plans in place and get those district SWOTs in so we can develop a multiple district SWOT. I guess there is one thing that we want a net membership growth. We don't want to anticipate losing members. So those are some things. I've got a couple of comments that I see here. Liz thinks we did a good job. I think Juanita and Claudia and Susan and Elisa did a good job. Let's see, Cindy Linus has a question. These plans are for incoming DGs, NAMI teams to submit? Yes. Yes. To answer Cindy's question, yes, it's for the incoming DGs and NAMI teams to submit. I would encourage the outgoing DGs to be involved, but it is the incoming. Howard wants to know, let's see, I would be interested in being included in seeing the NAMI plans from the districts. Howard, I can assure you that we can send you those plans. Cindy said, thank you. Liz Crook said, it is my understanding that all the plans will be on the MD4 NAMI webpage so everyone can learn what everybody else is doing. Yes, we do want to share. No secrets. James Varghese thinks we did a good job. Robert Manning, we should have a few examples of the completed NAMI district plans within the next week. So some districts have started or done their district plans already. I know L5 has done theirs. A1 is working diligently on theirs. C1 is working diligently on theirs and should have theirs ready soon. So we will have NAMI plans shortly on the website. Take a look at those. Don't wait. It's don't be a procrastinator. Sometimes I can be a pro at being a procrastinator, but don't do that. Get started now. Any other questions? Oh, David wants to know where the snow picture was taken.
Oh,
the answer to that is our backyard.
Yes, that was our backyard. I took everyone off mute. That's the end of our presentation. I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to shout out any last minute questions. Really appreciate everyone's participation.
Kat Gaughan wants a comment from Dr. Patty Hill. Patty, would you like to make a comment?
Well, I thought this was wonderful. Number one, you identified where your strengths were and where your weaknesses were, and you said, well, maybe our weakness is that we don't all know what we're going to do if we're asked to do a SWOT. And so then you took the next step. And you know, that's what we need to do all the time, is admit where we don't know things and then address it and move forward. So often we've found that it's the challenge of getting halfway through a year and realizing that your zone chairs or someone else didn't understand what you were asking of them, and so communication's critical. The fact that you're all here and you're all participating, I just applaud you. I was so excited when Dawn asked me if I wanted to sit in, because I know every multiple district across North America is going to be trying to figure out how to do SWOTs this year. And some folks know because they've just had experience, and some folks will be getting their first experience. So kudos to you. Great job. Well done.
If you would like copies of this, or we will have them on our website, or if you would like the decks also, we can make those available to you.
I would. I was going to ask you offline, this NAMI website on your MD, website, your Lions of California, is that open access that I would see if I went there, or is it part of your closed access area?
It is open access.
Okay.
Yeah, it is open access. It's we have two California websites. One is outward looking, and this will be our internal website.
I will send you the link.
And we'll send you a link.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for those comments and your kind words.
Good job, everybody. Outstanding.
Thank you, Norm.
Yay! Let's see. Rob Manning wants to mention that we will be scheduling a conference call or Zoom meeting for the first BDGs next week to discuss completion and questions concerning the NAMI plans. I did forget to mention that we don't have an exact date for that, but we will be having that, and Rob and I will both be on that call.
The other thing that I would just like to mention that I think would be beneficial is if you know there's areas that you need further help with, that your district, your team needs further information with, if we share that information through our COGS, then we can look at doing different kinds of trainings to meet needs that are identified. We can take advantage of the fact that we have the ability to do this and meet specific needs that are out there that, unless somebody says something, we're not going to know about. So far, our skill sets at reading minds is 0.
If I could, through the chair or through the presenter, I'd like to elaborate on my question on how to build the team. And I think something that came out of our previous NAMI discussions is we've been so used to filling individual roles, whether it's GMT, zone chairs, region chairs, and we're having difficulty even filling second vice governor chairs. How are some of your districts that are already doing your NAMI programs, who's part of the team? I mean, are we still just having a few, individuals, or are we bringing in, key individuals? This was great today because we had 38. We had a team of 38 doing this SWOT. How are we being successful in the other districts? Thank you.
I can tell you what 4C1 is doing. Our governor visits are essentially a NAMI meeting asking them about what we can do to improve and get ideas from them, and we take that back and use that for creating our SWOT. And the SWOT team we're using right now is our head cabinet. It's our first, second governor, immediate past district governor, cabinet secretary, cabinet treasurer, our NAMI champion, and our 3 Gs.
Great, thank you.
Claudia, do you want to?
Expanding it.
Claudia, did you want to say anything?
Our DGE in Maryland identified some key people. We have her GMT and the district governor team, our immediate past district governor. We have invited outsiders, millennials and people to come in and share with us their perspective on things, to fill out our SWOT. I have been reaching out to clubs, presidents, and telling them a little bit about NAMI and that we want to do a SWOT and look at what strengths and weaknesses are in that, and inviting them to attend a go-to meeting or a Zoom meeting, and asking them if they would share a paper survey with members that might not be comfortable doing that and would be the point person in sending that information back to us. And out of 8 calls I made in this last week, 6 of the presidents were very excited about it. And one of them called me back and said, when can we meet about growing membership in the club? So what you're doing is the building of the team is different than what I think our strategies have been in the past. We looked for a person. If we want teams, we have to look at who we can get interested and how we can get them interested and what their interests are and see where they're going to fit. And if we meet a need that they have first, they're much more likely to be part of the team.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. I know that we're starting to cut into your weekend. It is Friday night, but if there are any other questions, I don't want to cut it off, but I do want to let people get back to their lives.
Every day is a weekend.
I was going to say, yeah, it's going to be a hot time down to now.
Every day should be Friday. Don't eliminate Monday.
This is my 6th meeting.
Vice President Hill brought in her chat said, with regard to teams and brainstorming for SWOTs, that you have a chance to invite a couple of non-Lions. This has already been brought up, but they often tell us things we don't see ourselves. A1 did bring in a couple of non-Lions, and it was very interesting, especially to catch the view of a millennial. And we learned some terms that we weren't familiar with before, like echoing and things like that.
We echo a lot as Lions. This non-Lion millennial was our daughter, and she's pretty savvy on social media, and she said that as Lions we're out on social media a lot, but we echo because we talk to each other. We don't talk to non-Lions. We share things about what Lions are doing to Lions already. We need to start sharing to people that aren't Lions. So things like that. It was enlightening. It really was, as Lisa said. So thank you, Claudia. Any other comments or feedback before we end? I so appreciate everyone's participation.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
You look great.